Hey Flosstube, it's Lori of Mischievous Stitches, and I'm back again today for another dive into my stash. So I've done quite a couple of videos now just on my patterns, and today for you I have another drawer. But I thought I'd show you real quick. I keep getting a lot of questions about this piece here. And I stitched this in 2007, and that design is called Rhapsody in Blue, and it is by Four Oaks Designs. I don't know if they're still designing or you can still get the pattern. I've had it for some time. Let me see if I can focus in on it. It is intended to be, it's intended to be stitched as a monochrome piece, of course, in blue. And I chose, I think it was Silken Colors Topiary on a dark, looks like maybe a mocha. I think it was maybe Wheat Style Works Cocoa that I stitched it on. I also had two pictures there, and I went ahead and took them down, and I wanted to show them to you. I'm sitting in my dining room. And this is Carriage House Samplings. I don't remember the name of this piece, but it always struck me that this tree and bird was almost exactly the same design that was in the old Paulette Stewart's Plum Street Samplers, the motif for her patterns. So look at this, and if you have some of the old designs, take them out and take a look. Just that tree with the bird. But I thought this picture was beautiful. I got this at the Silver Needle in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and this is Wheat Style Works Dove is the fabric it's stitched on. I think that this was my first piece of Weeks, and it was my first piece of 36 count fabric. And I stitched this piece on, and it, like I said, it's a Carriage House Samplings design. I don't remember the name, and unfortunately I didn't write it on the back. And the other was stitched in 2000, both of these were stitched in 2010. And this is a La-Di-Da, and of course it's the love is patient, love is kind. Love rejoices in the truth. Love always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Love never fails. Isn't that the truth? So those are a couple of frame pieces, so let's get into this drawer. So this is a Little House Needleworks, home of a needleworker. I've seen several of you stitching on this piece. This pattern was passed to me from a friend with some of the threads. And this is Crows in the Corn. This is actually a kit. I bought this at Dixie Darling in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee a couple of years ago because I wanted to try a canvas piece, and I still haven't stitched it. This is a scissors fob kit by Shepherd's Bush, and a friend passed this to me, and I don't remember, it doesn't show what the name is, and I haven't opened it where she put a little gift tag on there, so I don't know the name of that one. These are newer designs. This is Spring Fling by Brenda Gervais. I think this came out last year at market, and I love the fabric. I love the flower colors. The robin sitting on the bunny's ear. I just thought this was gorgeous, and I love the little black cat that she came out with last fall as well. This is Summer at Cherry Hill. Once again, it's another Brenda Gervais. If I'm not mistaken, I think Jen of Jen's Stitching Niche is stitching this one right now. There's a pattern that's similar to this, and I don't know if it's this one or the other one that she's stitching. And this is Work Basket. This is Carrot Talk. And I kitted this up with a piece of 36 count French lilac linen and a couple of Vera Soie purples to stitch it on. And this is the Scarlet House. This is the Smith sampler. I have the threads, but I do not have the fabric. I know that, I remember this piece, the basket, the fruit basket, at my last Pals retreat. Nicole of Nicole's Needlework was sitting with me, or I was sitting with her, and she was working on that basket. Every time I see it, I think of her. And this is an Imaginating piece. This is Up at Dawn. I don't think I would stitch the whole piece. I just love the rooster. I love the colors. Got it because I want to redo my kitchen, but I've changed my mind now. When I bought this, I was wanting to do roosters, and now I'm doing something else. So. And this is Pirate Treasure by Nicole Nicoletti. If you look, you can see a pirate's face here. And this is hat. I thought it was a really neat design. And this is, I can't show you because this is an old pattern, but it's an old Mary Beale piece. Someone got it. It looks like they got it in the mail. Let me see if it opens up. It's just like a, what do you call it? An old newsletter. And it has, that's where it's coming from, but it's an old newsletter. And it has a couple of Mary Beale patterns in it, and there's no picture of them, so I can't show them to you. This one I've had for a while. I want to move this up on my list. This is Beloved. It's a monochrome piece, but check that out. Isn't that beautiful? You could do it in red, you could do it in blue. What does that say? It says, I don't have my glasses on, so I better not try to read it. There's no telling what I'd come up with. This is, the beatings will continue until morale improves. And it is by Sue Hillis. Pomegranate Garden by Not Forgotten Farms. I kitted this up at in Marietta at the Katrina Boyd retreat. I don't pay attention to my nails. I'm sorry, my fingernails are dirty. I've been at work, and even though I've washed my hands, I just need to go take a shower. So we'll fix those nails up. But Pomegranate Garden. That is something that I notice about other stitchers when I'm at a retreat or what have you, is that they wash their hands, because we do snack a lot when we get together. There's always a snack here or there, and I just don't want those oils or sugars from candies and things on my stitching. So even though it's not my stitching, if I see someone else touching something and not washing their hands and they're touching their fabric, I'm like, oh. But once again, this is Pomegranate House, and you've got the picture there, but can you see those thread colors and that fabric color? Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. So this is a punch needle piece by Teresa Kogut. And I got this from a quilt show a couple years ago, and the name of it is Liberty. And this is Christian Gessinger 1839 by Victoria Rose Needle Arts. The model of this one is stitched and hangs behind the register at Sassy Jack's. So if you're ever, when I was visiting there last, I couldn't say no. Well, I could have, but I chose not to. So this is Whispered by the Winds, and this is Friendship Quilt 5. And I love this just because it reminds, it's Christmas. It's happy colors. It brings good memories and, you know, makes me look forward to the coming Christmas. And I've bought a piece of summer khaki, sage summer khaki 28 count to stitch that on it in an even weave. Because it's a symmetrical design like that, I wanted to make sure my stitches were even. So, and this is another Brenda Gervais. This is Springtime in Baltimore. Talk about beautiful colors. Mercy. And then we have Brenda Gervais Needleworkers Sampler. And another Victorian Rose Needle Arts. This is Lydia Burgess. And another Brenda. This is a weaver's work. In Holiday Hoopla's 4th of July. And this is a quilt pattern, or I would say a hobo bag pattern for a tote. I don't necessarily like those colors, but I like the bag. And this was like one of the big hits of market last year. This is English Garden by Samplers Not Forgotten. I mean, come on. And then I got the kit for this one, the bouquet kit, which when you look at this pattern, there is the bouquet, the flower bouquet, and then here it is as a pinky, and it come with everything needed to finish that up. And this is Christmas in My Heart by Samplers Not Forgotten. And Samplers Remember, Lucy Snushaw. All you sampler lovers, you know you've got most of these. Just like me. This is Scattered Seed Samplers, Lydia Barnes Pigeon. This one, I can't wait to pull the threads for this one because there's like only 10 of them. And I can just picture doing it on a piece of wren, maybe a piece of parchment. I think this one's going to be gorgeous. And this is Spring Gathering. And this is Catherine Dickinson, and I do believe that I saw Charlene stitching this earlier, or later around summer last year, didn't I? This is a beautiful one too. I got this one off of Gulf Coast Stitches. And this is God Save the Queen by Shakespeare's Peddler. And another Sue Hillis. This is Home for the Holidays. And I bought this fabric to do it on instead of the cream. I didn't want to do it on blue. And this one, I daydream about it because it won't be much of anything to stitch it. But this is Hannah Carter, 1838 by Shakespeare's Peddler. She showed it on one of her Flosstubes a year or so ago. And have communion with few, be familiar with one, deal justly with all, and speak evil of none. Hannah Carter, December 8th, 1838. my thought is instead of stitching this, I think it's stitched with black. Yes, antique black. My thought is to stitch this with a dark green, just because even though it's not a Christmas piece, the tree and the fact that the little girl stitched it in December makes me wonder if she was thinking of Christmas when she stitched it, and I'd really like to stitch it in a dark green. This is a hands-on design. This comes from the last Pals Retreat, and this is To the Beach, and it is a limited design for those that attended Cross Stitch Pals. And another hands-on design, a proper young lady. A proper young lady must learn her stitches, for then her life will be full of riches. You know what my riches are? My patterns. That's where all my riches have gone, into my patterns. And this is a Maureen Appleton. So this one is stitched on a piece of silk gauze. The threads, it's a kit, so the threads and everything is in it. So it's going to be about that big. So this is going to be close to exact size of the piece when it's done. This is Heart's Content. Once again, Maureen Appleton, and this is Flossie. This is another piece that I bought years ago. It was on display. It was stitched up and on display at my local shop. And this is similar to how I stitch. I usually sit, I have a couch, a small couch upstairs, and I have a wooden TV table that I fix my my hoop to. It's a stand, but it has a clamp on it. So I clamp that to the TV tray. And this, like I said, looks very similar to me because I prop my feet up on the bar beneath the TV tray and I stitch away, which I'm looking forward to doing tonight. Clint's away for a little bit, and so I'll have the house to myself. And I've got to take, this is another Maureen Appleton, but I'm going to have to take this one out of the pack because her sticker is right over the top of the pattern. And this one is not a kit, but this is a sampler. And it's called Linen and Lace Sampler. Excuse me. The next one's a Homespun Elegance. I love the Homespun Elegance Santas, and that's it there. And I have a piece of 32 count sandstone to stitch it on. And I need to stick it, I can't stick it in there. Homespun Sampler, this is the Celtic Band Sampler. This is another one that I really want to stitch. This one just, I don't know what it is about it, but it's love. I have a love for this one. Now these are some older designs. I don't know if they're still designing. I have one of these on my wall in the kitchen. I have a grouping of pictures in the kitchen that are done in either greens or purples with grapes on them. And these are called Hillside Samplings. This one is Seasonal Sampling. I've always loved this one. And this one is Goodness Gracious. And this one is the Legacy Sampler. And I just want to do them all. And I think on my last video I had something to sip on so that I didn't cough too much, and it was in a Carolina Gamecocks mug. And so I had to mention that. When I did, I got a few Go Dogs. So once again, Go Gamecocks. This is a Heinz piece. I had that, I got it years ago. This is just something to go really quick, make a quick little gift, but it just says Stitch, and it has a few charms that you can place on it. And this is Imaginating Bethlehem. Now I have stitched this one, and this is actually designed by Diane Williams of Little House Needleworks. And I have stitched this whole piece, and I kept the pattern because I do want to just stitch the manger scene as a Christmas ornament. I'm going through again and pulling things out. Peekaboo Pincushion. Indigo Rose, the True Love sampler. It's my working copy and my pattern for ink circles, birthday circles. I had a friend who stitched this one, and it's with one of the overdyed DMCs, or variegated DMCs. It's so beautiful. In the picture here, you don't see much of the fabric behind the stitches. But if you ever go to Ink Circle's website, she used to have a gallery section to her website where people that had actually stitched her pieces had sent in, of course, pictures of their finished pieces. And she has put them all in a collection on her website in the gallery, and it's beautiful. And this is Jardin Privé, and this is a 3-part series. Sampler bouquets, and I have it kitted up, and on the back of each of the pictures you've got a picture of the completed piece. My problem is I don't like the colors anymore, so I would probably use maybe reds and navies. I don't mind the greens, I don't mind the browns, but I would probably just prim it up a little bit. Those pinks and blues are too wild. This is a Jeanette Douglas. This is Bargello Pincushion, and this is my Stitching Treasures. Now, Donna of D Squared has, I think it's this one, actually stitched up and is in the entranceway to her home on a little table, and it is stunning. She has the box and everything. It is stunning. And this is Jim Shore, 12 Days of Christmas. I really need to stitch this because friends already asked for the piece. And you may have seen that I've got a few ladies in hats. I don't know what it is about ladies in hats, like the movie Titanic, when before the main character, I can't remember her name in the movie, but before she gets onto the ship, she's stepping out of the carriage, and she looks as she gets out, and all you see is that hat, that white hat with the black and white ribbon around the top, and she gets out and you see nothing but the hat, and then she lifts her head, and oh, I love it, I love it. So this is one of John Clayton Elegance, and this is Victoria. And I can't remember the actress's name that plays in the Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't think she was in the last one or two, but in the first one. What's that actress's name? This design looks like her to me. This is just another button company. This is The Boys Are Back in Town. This is the Anne Hill sampler by Just Cross Stitch. And Miss Lucy Calcutt from Just Stitching Along. Miss Krista. And just now, Just Nan, Keeper's Garden. You want to know what Jacob's bibs had, or Jordan and Chelsea and Jacob's bibs had on them as little children? I'm so glad I kept this because I'm going to have grandchildren. I'm going to have grandchildren. I'm going to have grandchild soon. I need to stitch some of those. I remember stitching this one. But I stitched these up for my children's bibs. Isn't that sweet? And what did I pay? $2.68. This is Footprints in the Sand. And these are all old Leisure Arts designs. And this is Poinsettia, a floral study. I love poinsettias. At Christmas, I love having them all over my house, and they hate my heat. But I love having them. So in the month of December, my favorites are the whites and the pinks. So I need to stitch that. And this is Berry Christmas Stocking Book 1 and 2. Now, these are definitely 90s colors. But at Christmas, come on. Christmas, the colors are timeless for Christmas. This is another piece. I think about this one often. I don't think I've seen anyone stitching this. This is With the Needle by Lila's Studio, and I bought this at the New Jersey retreat year before last. And they had I think they were having a Lila's trunk show. And I bought this. And this is Liz Turner Deal, 17th century Irish garden. And this is another Lila Studio. This is Savannah Lynch. I think this one came out at market last year. Those colors are yummy. This is a Lizzie Kate. This is My Dear Old Uncle. Another Lizzie Kate. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Excuse me. This is Halloween Thrilogy by Lizzie Kate. And I got this one a long time ago just because it reminded me of the fairy godmothers. Was it Cinderella? Was Cinderella that had the three fairy? Did they sing the song Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo? Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. Another Lizzie Kate. This is Floor Samples Stockings. And this is an old one I got off of eBay. This is the Snowy River Bell Pull. And Church in the Valley by Lou Fuller. And Lindsay Lane Designs, Isabella Wood. And just a couple more and that bucket's done. This is the Memorial Sampler by Memorial Sampler by Midsummer Nights Design. And this is Peaceful Paradise. This is another one I really want to stitch. And this is a friend's house sampler. This was gifted to me by my friend Karen Macon last year at retreat. And this is Three Things sampler. This is Ray Iverson, Moss Creek Designs. This is a Wisteria Gate. My first ever class was with Ray Iverson. All right, Ray Iverson. My Big Toe, Faith. And My Big Toe, Amazing Grace. We need a whole lot of that right now. I hope everyone has a great evening. I hope that you have continued to enjoy seeing all my stash. I may come back tomorrow and we're done with the patterns. We'll get started on the kits. See you then. Take care. Bye-bye.